Alright, a few days into spring 2023. Nice looking spring day. Had a windstorm last night. It's still windy now, so I apologize if there's any wind noise. But I also apologize for not having done anything on YouTube for quite a while. I have been doing a little bit of work on the boat, but not a ton. I got injured last summer. The boat injured me right into my wrist here. Had a shard of fiberglass that had epoxy on it. It dropped down and got into my wrist, and I had surgery to get it out, so I blew a month there. So all kinds of the usual. But what I want to talk about was I'm getting rid of the VC17 off the bottom of the sailboat. That's this black bottom coat here. Now, I'm planning on eventually taking it out into salt water. Got to get rid of it. It's not very good in salt water, and you can't put anything over the top of it. You have to take it off. So I've been trying several different techniques to get rid of it. Just straight up sanding. I tried several techniques. I did find when I power washed the boat that the power washer actually pulled off kind of the outside layer pretty good. So I went out and I rented a real high power washer, and that was a mistake. That actually went down right into the fiberglass and started picking away at the fiberglass in a couple of these areas. So I gave up on that. I went out and I bought a soda blaster. I heard a sand blaster is not good for the bottom of the boat. I don't know if it's true or not, but because it might leave little pieces of sand in the bottom, and then you don't get them out, and then it can help with blisters, help cause blisters in the future. So they recommend a soda blaster, which I did. In this section here, I used a soda blaster, and it worked really well. It was low energy on my part, but it still leaves quite a bit that I'm going to have to either sand off or use some kind of solvent to get it off. And it was such a mess. I mean, you could see the soda, this stuff, this cake. This is what got underneath the tarp I had laid out. So I had a tarp laid out, and I'd recover it and pour it back in to kind of use it. It's 50 bucks a bag for a 50-pound bag, I think is what I paid, something like that. It wasn't cheap. It's so messy. Like, I'll cut to the one I used now, but just didn't decide to go with it. So this is the soda blaster I was telling you about. It's a Harbor Freight special, 40-pound capacity. It works, but you have to have a really big compressor. Compressor I have, I mean, that's my old Craftsman. It's a 5 horsepower, 20 gallon, and supposedly 6.2 cubic feet per second or per minute at 90 psi, and that's still not enough to keep up with it. So it works for a good 30 seconds, pounds everything off really nice, and then you gotta stop and wait for the compressor to catch up. So if you got a big compressor, this would be great, but I don't have a big compressor. I looked into, there's a way to combine compressors. I believe the cubic feet per minute is additive, so if you time together, I didn't want to deal with it. So soda blaster is out. I tried a grinder with a good blade on it, and I was going too deep. I was going right through the gel coat and gouging the fiberglass, and so grinder was too much. And I have a really nice sander. It's this Porter Cable sander, random orbital. So I decided to use that, and it just gums up the sandpaper really fast. But it works well. This whole section was pretty much just the sander, and it works really well. It just takes a long time, and it's hard to hold it up there. So if you're young and virile, go for it. But I did notice I took a chisel and I was able to scrape off the top layer. This is where I was playing with that. I thought, oh, that's cool. So I went out and I bought a scraper from Home Depot. And this actually, I mean, maybe I can show a couple. That worked pretty well, but the problem is blade. I even bought extra blades. They go dull really quick. Like after 5 strokes like that, it's dull. I take a file or a sharpening stone, clean it up, you know, sharpen it up again, and then continue. And that just got really old. I managed to get this whole section done that way. So that worked out pretty good, but I've since gone online and I ordered a scraper that has a tungsten carbide blade versus just these steel things. It says it's supposed to last 50 times longer. I'm hoping that's the case. So we'll see. I got this much done. I still have the whole other side of the boat I've done nothing on, so I've got a lot of work ahead of me still. But that said, I found for my quarter cable, I found 40 grit paper, the hook and loop disc paper for the sanding, the random orbital sander. This particular quarter cable for some reason has 5 holes, so it's a little difficult to find. Found a place online that had them though, so I got a couple hundred of those. I'm just doing a little bit at a time, and that's what I'm doing now. So that seems to be the way I'm going to be able to get this VC17 off, is scrape, get that outside layer off, and then sand with this 40 grit stuff. I got a bunch of them, peel them off. I can do about a 1.5 by 2 foot section before I got to change the paper. And it's going to take a while, but we'll get there. So that's what I'm up to right now. I just wanted to do a brief update and film some of this and show the fun of pulling off VC17, because you can't paint over it, you can't use it in salt water. So there you go. Until next time, I'm not sure how long before I'll have another one up, but thanks for watching. Talk to you.